pick up on another game, another streamer.
Right.
And I picked up one of my streamlines, Uber.
Mm-hmm.
I says, hey, I have no one to teach my kid. I said, I can teach your kid. What are you talking about? I can teach your kid anything he wants to learn.
Yeah.
He says, if you could do that, I'm going to give you $5,000. I said, no. I taught him, I gave him 6 lessons, and he was on his way. He was on his way to the basketball world. And you can have a career. My second career, which is training.
Right.
I'm in the back of my mind, I was seeking out Uber to help my career. So I have another streamline with Uber, but really I'm gaming on Uber because that's where my people are at. That's where brand is at. I'm branded every time they get in. Hey, what do you do, man? Look like you don't really do this for a living. Oh, I do, a little teaching, and then I'm doing this. I talk to kids, and then I'm doing the training world. I'm trying to tap him. I'm trying
Right.
to up to see where he's at, to see where his weakness at. Hey, I got a kid. I got a kid that no one can teach. And hey, you should come over. Yada yada. I was also invited to Steph's camp, but I didn't have the time. Driving Uber. Hey, I'm the block.
The trade-off has been worth it, though.
Yeah, trade-off was tremendous. I met the vice president of Google at the time. She was rolling with me, and I gave boys connection. I'm tremendous, and here we are saying you're not multitasking. Get your butt on the ground. Get out there and get that 100. And don't listen to that. I'm focusing on one thing. I'm going to make more and more customers. Yes, that is possible. But I really truly believe that you should have one streamline that's on the ground. And you're not doing it so much to make some money on Uber. I'm doing it so much to make my connections, bigger connections, higher connections. That's what I'm doing.
So let's break that down. So you said something without saying something. So you were saying you were able to leverage your teaching and also be a trainer because you had skills. Right? So I think it goes back to step one, where in order to get to 100K saved up, you need to either add net new skills, right? Or you get even more proficient at the existing skills you have so you can demand more in the marketplace. So that's what people, I think that's what Hermel is referring to. It's like, yeah, you in the red, you need to get some skills so someone can pay you, right? A higher wage. Like, yeah, obviously, there's no shade that everyone has to do what they have to do, but like, you can get a job to pay for your time for right now, but you can't stay there if you want to save more. So you should really, to your point, be boots on the ground, either getting that new skills, or even, I think as one of my other mentors I met, he's like, or even Hope says, you're a businessman, not a businessman. Like, so where, you're walking into these, so everyone has skills. You should leverage that and see how you can do that on the side too.
It's not, and I never considered it on the side. I always considered it as part of my pyramid. I always considered it as part of my pyramid. There's one more 500-ton rock that's I'm adding on and sharpening the knife. But yes, I want my career at the top of that pyramid, but I want all facets to come in and leverage that situation. But I was talking to one of the kids who banked at my bank, and I said, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And he said, "I'm just chilling. What's your second job?" "I don't have one." And I said, "What?" "I don't have one, man. I might get one. And I'm just thinking, and I'm talking to him saying, well, "There's no might. You're a single male. You got to get out there, bro. You got to get out there." And he said, "Man, I get off at 6 and 7 o'clock." I said, "That's what they intentionally want you to. That's what they intentionally want you to do. That's why they want to take all your focus, and you come in at 10, and then you get off at freaking 7 or something. Yeah, the only thing you're thinking of, okay, I got to play a different game. I'm either going to have to get an investment. These guys come in at 6 o'clock, and leave on banker's hours."
Right.
And I have to get here as fast as I can because I can't be doing it. The second thing about it, I said, well, you're sitting here and you know everyone's finance. You look into my deal and you know my finance. Your whole game is to write a book. What's the most fascinating thing is to write about these different characters and change the name, but you know, and see the game. This guy comes in, flash, he had a lot of gold. I looked into his account, and he has five. I think a lot of people would want to read that. Now, who's your customer? He said, who's going to read that? I said, do you ever walk by Safeway and see all those magazines right next to the aisle when you're about ready to check out? Those people will read that. Leverage. Get your leverage. On the whole deal. Get your 100. You get your 100. Things different. I tell you what, get that 100. You young people get that 100. You guys get that 100. No matter what. If you got a hole in your sock or you wearing mixed match socks, don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about that. That is not the interrupter. That is not. If the only interrupter that should stop you is your health. Other than that, man, you got to go get it.
All right. So our boy Graham, he loves to say, "Hey, I think Kevin O'Leary's also like, I make my coffee at home. I'm not spending money on food. I think you remember that I lived on a futon with like 6 roommates. So mine, like obviously, let's pretend you're like a 22-year-old kid. You're graduating college. You're coming into like some real money for the first time in your life. You got partners who's about to get a nice apartment, like a nice apartment in the city or whatnot. What do you focus there? How much